Hi there. In today's lesson, we shall be discussing about the depth first traversal. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Let's dig right in. Depth first traversal. There are three forms of depth first traversal, and these are PreOrder, which is also known as the Prefix Order. We also have the InOrder, also known as the Infix Order. Last on the list is the PostOrder, also known as the Suffix Order. Now let's take a general overview of what to expect in each traversal. As we have already discussed in our previous video captioned the breadth first traversal, kindly visit the video for more insight on trees. One key thing about trees is that we have the root on top of the tree and then subtrees at its left and right. So, for any given tree, you have to watch out for the root node represented with the letter N and the left subtree represented by L. And lastly, the right subtree represented by an R. So now, with the PreOrder Traversal, the traversal is done in this manner and order. You first visit the root node, then you visit the left subtree if there is any, and then you visit the right subtree. Also, with the InOrder, you first visit the left subtree if any, then you visit the root node before visiting the right subtree if there is any. With the PostOrder, we first visit the left subtree if there is any, then we visit the right subtree if there is any, and finally we visit the root node. Now, with these principles in mind, you can traverse any tree. Just follow my lead and you will be all right after this lesson. Okay, let's talk about the PreOrder Traversal in details. So our rule says in PreOrder Traversal, you must first visit the root node as N, then you visit the left subtree L, finally before you visit the right subtree. Let's take an example right away. There is an example of a tree with labels A, B, and C, where A is representing our root node. Then the left side of A is our left subtree B, and to our right side of it is the right subtree C. So to traverse this simple tree, we begin from A, since it is the root node, then we visit B, since it is the left subtree, then finally to C, which is our right subtree. So simple, isn't it? Now with this gist, let's take another example. Let's consider this tree and traverse it. Looking at this tree, our root node is K. Then we have our left subtree and our right subtree respectively. So we put down K since we are required to first visit the root node before visiting the left subtree. All right. When we move to the left side of K, there is another subtree. Now let's focus on that now. Here, letter C or node C becomes our root node. Q becomes our left subtree and B becomes our right subtree. So to traverse this tree, we go from C to Q and to B. Now we are done dealing with the left subtree. So let's move to the right subtree of K. On the right subtree, we have H as the root node, R as the left subtree, and then G as the right subtree. Therefore, to traverse this tree, we go from H to R and then to G. Neat. Per this tree, that is how the various nodes will be traversed. Another example. Wow, that's a big tree. Don't be scared. Just follow my lead and the understanding will come to you in one piece. On top of this tree is the root node K. Easy to fish that out, isn't it? On the left side, we have the left subtree, and its right, of course, we have the right subtree. So we put down K, remember, root node first. Let's now consider the left subtree. When we focus on this particular area of the tree, C becomes the root node. Then we have the left subtree, but we have no right subtree. As we can see, there is no right side of C. So we pen down our C as the root node. Then we now consider the left side of C. When we focus on the aspect of this tree, V becomes our root node, Q our left subtree, and then B becomes the right subtree. So now to traverse this tree, we have V, Q, and B. We can now move to the right side of K, our right subtree. Considering this tree, H becomes our root node. Then we specify the right subtree. In here also note, there is no left side of H. Hence, there is no left subtree. So we pen down H, the root node. Since there is no left subtree, we jump right onto the right subtree. We now focus on the side of this tree. I becomes the root node, R the left subtree, and G the right subtree. Therefore, traversing this tree, we have I, R, G. Simply done. Let's consider the last example on the PreOrder Traversal. Now, without any helping illustrations, let's traverse this tree. The topmost symbol plus becomes the root node. So let's write that down. We then move to the left of the plus symbol. The multiplication symbol becomes the root node in this case. Then A becomes our left subtree. Then we move to the right subtree of the multiplication symbol. Subtraction becomes the root node. B becomes the left subtree, and then C becomes the right subtree. From here, we go to the right subtree of the topmost plus symbol. The plus sign becomes our root node. Then D becomes the left subtree. And finally, E becomes our right subtree. Voila! Our next topic, InOrder Traversal. With the InOrder Traversal, the traversing is done in this order. First, visit the left subtree, if there is any. Then you visit the root node, and finally, the right subtree. Example 1. Just like we had in our previous example, A is a root node, B is the left subtree, and C becomes the right subtree. Therefore, to traverse this simple tree using PreOrder Traversal, we begin from B to A and then to C. Quick and simple. Let's go to example 2. As usual, we point out our root node, which is K, and then the left side of K becomes our left subtree, and its right becomes the right subtree. So we focus on the left subtree and then consider this tree. Here C becomes the root node, Q is the left subtree, and B is the right subtree. Remember, in InOrder, we start visiting the left subtree before visiting the root node, and finally the right subtree. So to traverse this tree, we begin from Q to C and to B. Now we are done with the left side, so we move to K. So pen that down as our root node. Then we move to the right subtree. On the right subtree, H is the root node, R is the left subtree, and the G is the right subtree. So we traverse in this order: R, H, G. That is great. Example 3. K, our root node. There is a left subtree and then a right subtree. Let's focus on the left subtree. C here becomes our root node, the left subtree, but no right subtree. So meaning we have to continue on to the left subtree of C. Considering this tree, V becomes the root node, and Q becomes the left subtree, and B becomes the right subtree. Now, let's traverse this tree. We are going to have Q, V, B. Then we move up to put down the root node C. And then we go to the topmost root node K and write that down. We have dealt with the left subtree and the root node, so we can now consider the right subtree. H becomes the root node, but note there is no left subtree but only the right subtree. And since there is no left subtree, we have to move to the right subtree at once. Considering the right subtree, I is the root node, R is the left subtree, and then G becomes the right subtree. So we traverse the tree as R, I, G. Our last example on the InOrder Traversal. With no helping illustrations, let's traverse the tree shown. In here, topmost plus sign is the root node. Then we move to the left subtree and traverse that. Starting from A, then we go to the multiplication symbol, root node. Then we go to the left subtree, but carefully note, we are not going to write the minus because there is a left subtree to it. So we would rather put down the B. Then the minus sign comes to play before putting down our right subtree C. So we can now visit the topmost plus sign, that's our root node. Then we move to the right subtree of it. Then we easily traverse the tree as D plus E. Done. Now we go to our PostOrder Traversal. Alright, PostOrder Traversal. With the PostOrder, the traversal is done in this manner. First visit the left subtree, if there's any. Then we visit the right subtree, if there's any, before finally visiting the root node. Let's take an example. To traverse this tree, we are going to have BCA. Very simple. Now example 2. As usual, we label K as our root node, and then the left subtree and the right subtree. We now consider the left subtree, then we traverse it as QBC, after which we visit our right subtree and traverse that as RGH. Then finally our root node K is being captured. That is simple. Example 3, as we've already had some gist on this tree in the previous traversals, I'm really going to cut to the chase on this one. So we identify our root node K, then we move to the left subtree. C becomes the root node here with the left subtree and not having the right subtree. So we jump right onto the left subtree. Traversing this tree gives us QBV. Then we move to C. From here, we go to the right subtree. H becomes the root node here with a right subtree with no left subtree. Therefore, we have to traverse the right subtree as RGI and then finally pen down our root node K at the last point of contact. Example 4. Of course, topmost plus is the root node. So we have to go to the left subtree. Multiplication becomes the root node in this subtree. Then A becomes the left subtree. So we have to pen down A. Now we move to the right subtree of the multiplication symbol. Consider this tree, we can traverse the tree as BC minus. Then we visit the multiplication symbol. Here we are done with the left subtree. We have to go to the right subtree of the topmost plus symbol. That's the root node. Traversing this gives us DE plus, and then we visit the topmost plus symbol. Great job. Now let's make our hands dirty. Determine how this tree will be traversed using PreOrder, InOrder, and the PostOrder. You can pause this video, work them out, and check your answer when done by resuming it. I hope this lesson gave you a great insight on how to traverse trees in any of these forms under the depth first traversal. Kindly subscribe to this channel, like and leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. And thanks for watching. See ya.